Let's go to Stephen Bath. Now, Stephen is a former boss of Palm Air, Britain's smallest airline, also former MD of Bath Travel. Stephen, I mean, Megan, you can hear her. She's a capable, feisty, professional young lady, isn't she? It does seem a terrible disappointment for her, doesn't it?
Absolutely. My heart goes out to her. I can see that she has the enthusiasm, but it's a rough world out there. And, of course, Emirates regularly wins the Best Airline in the World award, so they probably get over 100 applicants for every job. She got through the most difficult hurdles, but, of course, ultimately, they do want medical records. After all, these days, with the awful Malaysian problems where something went wrong in the cockpit, which is a sort of a mental issue, they want to be absolutely sure that everybody's in absolutely perfect condition. It's tough.
But you know, a bout of depression a few years ago and a doctor's note saying she's absolutely fully recovered and would be perfectly robust enough in mind and body to do this job. Shouldn't that be enough?
Well, yes, I suppose so. I mean, everyone has their ups and downs from time to time, but this was, I think, actually 2 visits to a doctor, once just over a year ago and once a few years earlier, and that is what will be on Megan's medical records. Now, the people at Emirates are not wanting to pry into too much detail.
No.
They just see the word depression, and they've got another 50 candidates who have a completely clear record. You can understand which way they're going to jump.
Well, can you? You know, it's you know, against what's supposed to be an equality law where something like that doesn't count as a stigma against you for the rest of your life.
Well, that's true. But,
and of course, you know, it could lead people just not to put it on the form, which of course they're supposed to disclose it. But you can imagine thinking, well, I'm not telling them about something that happened to me 5 years ago. I'm fine now.
And I fully support people who do that, maybe to work in a shop or whatever, but when it comes to an airline, they do have to go through the rigorous checks to find out exactly what the medical records are, even more so these days. And the other point I'd make, Vanessa, is that although we see stewardesses serving food and drink, that is not why they're there. They are there for an emergency evacuation in a very stressful situation. Most of us, of course, have never seen it and hope not to. But every single year they have to go through very rigorous tests to make sure they can do these evacuations and know where all the bits and pieces are, the axes, the oxygen bottles, and they have to go into the swimming pool and do all the water checks every year. And if they don't do it, they can't fly. These are quite stressful as well.
Thank you for talking to us.